Normally we're here to do, we're going to create something, but today we're going to not create, we're going to work with what we have. Uh, as many of you know, I have been working on getting rid of my old homestead so that I can move forward with my new studio. And one of the funny things about that is I have been so focused on purging every essence of myself from the old house that I think I may have gone too far. The Pantene color of the year is something like uh, cloud spike or something. It is basically a version of a very, very soft white. Um, and even before I knew that, I had chosen to repaint the entire inside of my house new house white. Um, Originally, the inside of my house was mostly Mother Nature green, which was a Bayer premium paint color. And that color has been in my house for every house I've had for over probably 30 or 40 years. The kitchen was a soft yellow. Um, and some of the downstairs rooms were a mellow yellow also. It was a nice yellow because in the daytime it was a little brighter, and in the evening it turned into a more mellow gold. Anyway, I've done such a good job of stripping myself from the house that I think I've removed any personality at all from the house. The house is an old colonial, and you've seen the carriage house many times on the inside. So, the last few days, I've been working on staging some of the rooms, but the house still looks very, very stark. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave quilts in there for open houses or anything, but I am going to put some quilts in there for photographs for the online MLS listing. So, what I'm going to do today, and I thought it would be fun to do the applique element quilts since those are all have a theme. One of the discussions I've had with my roommate, the house is from the late 1800s. Excuse me. It's a little bit of a story. I bought the house from the original owners, but it had been passed down from the like the grandparents to the parents to the granddaughter. I know that they sold carpeting and furniture in the house originally, but also some of the women in the house were also school teachers because I had found Valentine's, those ephemera Valentine cards, the ones that you open up and they have the accordion paper, crepe paper inside. I found a huge collection of those in the house that I still have to dear teacher, this and that. But they sold carpeting and furniture, which is what my carriage house was. It was a furniture and carpeting showroom. Um, so the house was built in the late 1800s, and I'm fairly certain of that because when I remodeled the kitchen, uh, there was newspaper in the walls that they used for insulation, and the newspaper was from the late 1800s. I don't think anybody had newspaper that they saved for 20 or 30 years to put in the kitchen walls uh, for remodeling. I think it was what they had on hand when they did the house. Um, the town that I lived in had a pretty major flood around 1917, 1913, 1917, somewhere around there. And all of our deeds were held in the courthouse basement, and the courthouse basement was flooded, and all those records were destroyed. So I think they reprinted deeds as they were needed after the flood, and so my house doesn't show as being built until after 1920. But I know it wasn't built then. I know it was built before that. Also, there are other houses on my street that were built in the late 1800s. So I know that my house wasn't selected out as an oddball. Another funny thing about my property was that there was actually 4 buildings on the original property. It was my uh, colonial house, which is 2 stories, a carriage house, which is 2 stories. That's 1,650 square feet. There's an identical carriage house next door to it, which was approximately 1,650 square feet. And then there's a little tiny cottage in the front. And the cottage was just a little showroom. I don't think anyone ever lived in it at the time it was built. I think it was just a showroom for the furniture. And then the identical carriage house was never finished out. It was just bare bones. And it had the big steel carpeting racking that they used to warehouse the carpeting. And then my carriage house held all of the more finished samples. It was more of a finished out room because it had paneling and finished wood floors when I moved in. And then they lived in the house. But when I had bought the house, no one had lived in my house for over 20 years, 15 or 20 years, which I didn't know when I bought it. Anyway, so I have this thing in my head that I can't remember what my house looked like when I bought it. I don't know how it's supposed to look, how good it's supposed to look. I keep thinking that it's supposed to look like a brand new house, and it can't because it's over 100 and, well, probably 130, 40 years old, something like that. Anyway, it's old. My roommate doesn't want it to look, want me to use really old furniture in it because we have pretty young people that live in this town. We would be appealing to a younger crowd. So I have a little bit of old furniture and a little bit of newer furniture, as you will see as the video progresses. And also some of the rooms are uh, don't have a very well definition. Uh, like one of the bedrooms you have to pass through to get to another one of the bedrooms. I always used it kind of as an office. In the video, you'll see I'm using it as a toddler room, even though I always lived there alone. So I never had any question about the use of the rooms. Anyway, I'm going to be taking over the Applicate Element quilts because they're the Urban Element whole theme was a little bit more modern, a little bit more urban, a little bit more hip. And so it appealed to, kind of a hipper, younger crowd. And so I'm hoping that will give the old house and then the young crowd that perfect juxtaposition that will appeal to everyone across the board, older and younger alike. So I'm going to just today pick out a couple of things to take over. I can't take over everything because um, I would feel like I'm moving back in again. So I'm just going to pick out some things that I think would work over there, in at least in one of the rooms somewhere. I was looking at this one. I do have an enclosed front porch, and I'm going to be painting the porch floor a really nice cobalt blue floor. So I might take this one over for the wall. The walls are all white, like I said. So this one might go over for the wall. Um, this one, I think, is Zen Garden. Might go over for what blue? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think this one has much possibility. Dream big. This is one of my samples that I actually did. I'm going to take it over just in case. Love Bug I'm taking over. This could be used in the toddler's room. Taking that one for sure. I'm taking this cow print over. Holy cow. Because the kitchen is yellow, and this is definitely orange, but I've got a big space up, a couple of big spaces up, and the cow might look really cute. Cows always look cute in the kitchen. Love is Love is definitely going to go over. There's a lot of places that could work, and it's small. There's a what I would call in the old days a front parlor, and it's very stark. Everything's white, white, white in there. I retiled the fireplace. This is definitely go over because it's small. Mama Goat. These will probably make more sense when you see the inside. The all aboard applique. This is the little train. That could definitely go over for toddler's room. Growth chart is going to go over. We have two of these growth charts. Actually, I think there's three. I'm going to take all three of them over and see which one I like best over there. I have another Love is Love. I'm going to take that one over, see which one I like best. I have Noah's Ark. This is definitely going to go over because I've been thinking about this the whole time. I want to put this over the toddler bed. And these are going to be great because it's going to be instant decoration for the place. This is another one that's going to be really great because it's so bright, and yet it's still white light. It's really going to perk up one of the rooms. This could go in my mom's room, old room too. Then we've got these two. This is Dog Park and Alley Cat. This is really what made me start thinking about it. I've got two rooms. One is in the entryway, has a big wall that I always had a quilt on. And then there's another room where I've switched rooms. I used to have the living room and the dining room. I've switched those two rooms around because of something I did to the house. So one of these quilts, Dog Park or Alley Cat, is definitely going to go in the entryway. And then the other one of the two quilts is either going to go in the living room or the dining room. Because the house is so white. And I think the white and black is going to look really good. So I have Dog Park and Alley Cat. Oh, I'm getting blue dishes for the dining room. So I think the Alley Cat definitely will go to the dining room. That makes sense. Let's see what else. I want to. Excuse me. It's dusty down here. I don't know if I need this. Besides, it's dusty. This is the piano keys. I don't have anything that would be considered like a music room. So I don't know if that would make sense anywhere. I could take that over because I could use a table runner. One of these over. I don't know if that's going to make sense anywhere. I could take the spring bicycle over since it's going to be spring. I want the other growth chart. Over the road applique. This one would be great. This is almost the color of the kitchen, this yellow. But there is no place in the kitchen to hang it. I don't think. I'm going to take this over and see. there is one wall that I just painted. There's a lot of stuff to take. These are unfinished. Fortunately, those are all unfinished, so I don't have any more to try and take. So, what did I decide that I'm not taking? I think I'm taking everything. Anyway, it'll make a lot more sense when we get over there. I'm not going to be able to hang everything today because not every room is finished. So we'll probably do maybe a second one of these when some of the other ones are hung up, or a continuation. And you'll finally get to see what I've been doing forever. But that's it. I'm going to wrap up here. I have some errands to run, and I might grab breakfast. I'm starving. I also have the dishes to pick up. So I think I'm going to empty these things out onto the table so I have a bag to take. And then we'll see you at the old homestead. Okay, first just let me say it's been several days since I made the first part of the video. So I don't remember where I left off. We are in my old house, and this is the master bedroom. And these are the first two quilts I'm going to show you. These are the Dresden plate quilts, and I hung both the dots, vintage dots, and the batik quilt. I want to say one thing first, though. When all of these quilts were in the studio, and they've been in the studio since COVID, I was getting honestly, a little bit sick of seeing them because they were all stacked one on top of the other, and I hadn't had any break from them. They had been in there, COVID 5 years ago. So I just didn't have any break. And they were one on top of the other on top of the other. I mean, sometimes they were actually layered on top of each other. And it's just not the way they were actually intended to be seen. And at this point, they've been folded up and put away for at least a couple years now as I've been renovating this house and the new house and all of the things that I was dealing with my mother. So I've had a break. And I feel like this is the first time that I've actually gotten to see them the way that they're intended to be seen. And it started down in the dining room, and you'll see it in a minute. When I hung the first quilt up, it was the Alley Cats. And I got to see just one quilt on the wall with the rest of the room and what it brought to the room. It made such a difference, and you'll see that downstairs. But I really am getting a fresh breath of what the quilts can bring without them overpowering you with so many in the room. So these two I like together. I actually have 3 of these. I have to put the binding on one of them. I'm going to hang the third one in the stairwell. There's a really great wall in the stairwell that is almost like a museum wall that's meant for the meant for something to hang there. And I've always had a quilt hanging there, but I'm not leaving that quilt to hang there. One thing that I will say about the house, all of the house was painted in my colors. These rooms were all painted Mother Nature green, and the Mother Nature green has been my paint color for probably 35, 40 years. But I didn't want to leave it that color because, you know, people want to see a blank slate. And so when Pantene came out with their cloud color, which is like an off-white, white color, I thought that was great. And this particular white is called New House White, which I thought was a great juxtaposition because this house is almost 150 years old. It was built in the late 1800s. So I thought it would give it a fresh break. But when I painted everything white, all the same white, I thought it was a little bit too stark. I went too far, had no personality. So when I started hanging the quilts, I really thought it gave it, again, a fresh mix of the old and the new, the old house and these new urban uh, quilts have such a cool trend to them. So I'm going to turn the camera around. The next room is a pass-through to the master bedroom. It's always been kind of a conundrum what you would do with it. I used to use it as an office, but keep in mind that I lived here by myself. I turned it into a toddler room. So you're going to see some toddler furniture, but it was a great excuse to use some of the more novelty quilts. So you can see I have Noah's Ark on the wall, and I have my little box. It's a little cigar box down on the ground next to the bed there. And then I have a little crib, toddler bed there with some books on it. And I have a growth chart on the wall and a really beautiful view out the window. As you pan around to where I am, there's going to be there's going to be another growth chart on the wall and the train tracks quilt. I'm going to go ahead and stop again and turn around. The door you see there is to the master bedroom. I've just closed that so you can see the train quilt there and another version of the growth chart. That's the giraffe, another version of the giraffe. And I've got another version of the growth chart. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Hold on just one second. So you can see as you're coming out the door, we have another growth chart here. Right past the the shades growth chart, you'll be going into the hallway. There's the bathroom, and then it goes into what was originally my mom's room. I have two quilts in there, but I'm not going to show those today because I don't have those hung yet. But I needed to get this video wrapped up. So next we're going to go into what was I used as my dad's room when he came up, because I was separated my mom and dad. They slept better that way. This is the front of the house. This looks out over the front street. There's two closets here, and I tucked the bed in between the closet. I always had the bed over here, but the bed fits really nice there. We have the Love is Love over the desk. This is a really cool desk. This desk was from the original library here in town. So the desk is probably over 100 years old. Oak. It's got two little drawers in it. So I have the Love is Love and the Mama Goat with the bird on it. Before I tuck us out of the room, I will go ahead and turn the camera around just so you can see the room. So this is the whole of it. There's two closets in this room, which was funny because some of the rooms don't have any closets, which technically wouldn't make them a bedroom, but that's the way it is here. I don't know how far I can pan without getting the ladder that I'm using. Now this is going down the stairs to the first floor. I have the musical notes hanging up above the window, and to the right, there's a really amazing wall here that I'm going to hang the other Dresden plate on. I just have to get the binding on it, and it'll go right on that big blank wall there. So you can see the quilts are almost looking like they're hanging in a museum exhibit, which I really like. So really like the way the quilts look, but also I really like what they're doing for the house, because you can see if you take the quilts down that the house would look really stark. I think I really went overboard with the white. Now we're going to go downstairs. This is the front entrance to the house, and you can see I have the dog park quilt hanging there in the front entry. Again, I think it looks really good hanging on the wall there. It really fills in the space. I have one of my quilting machines right here, um, there in the entry. It's one of those hydraulic lifts, and I have a computer monitor there, but it's not connected to anything. I also have a beautiful table runner, and I have a really nice rug there on the floor. It really makes the dog park stand out. I'm going to try and pan very slowly into the parlor, and you can see the first of the quilts in the parlor, which is another version of the mama goat. Too far. I don't think I can get the second one from here. Nope. So I'll go ahead and reposition and we'll go again. Okay, we have 4 quilts in the room. We have one on the back of the couch, the sofa. And I think that was just a 2-block sampler that Patricia had made early on. But we have the mama goat, and then we have the quilt in the back there. And then we have the little vacation, the road trip quilt coming up. If I can get the ladder out of my way. And now we'll move to the dining room. You can see a little bit of the mama goat reflected in the mirror. This fireplace here is at an angle here in the front parlor. Again, there is the entryway with the dog park. See if you can make sense of this. If you had 3D vision back there through that room there, that's the living room. What looks like it's yellow back there is actually the laundry room. It's not actually yellow, it's just a daylight. And back through there is the kitchen. And this is the dining room. And this is the alley cat quilt. This is the only quilt in this room. And well, except for the table runner. We have a French braid table runner on the quilt on the table as well. The table's all set with place settings. We have little miniature roses for each place setting, and the little goblets have Easter bunnies on them. And you can see throughout the house that we're still doing odds and ends. Some of the switch plate covers aren't on. I was just ironing quilts today. The blue paper in the background that you see, that's what we were using to keep the floor clean, though we didn't do a very good job. And the last room I'll show you is the living room. Well, there's actually 2 more rooms. We have a version of Road Trip there between the 2 wall sconces. I don't have those turned on at the moment. You can see all new windows in the house. All the light fixtures were new. We did all the floors, took the carpet up and sanded. And then I believe this is Zen Garden. I had to take all the labels off so I could press them, and I'm old, so my memory escapes me. But I bet if you ask us, we could tell you what each one is called. So I have one more little thing to show you, and then that could wrap it up for the way that we have these displayed. This is the front porch. The screen door there is right about in the middle of the front porch. It's a nice long enclosed front porch, and you can see I hung the hummingbird garden up to really greet the people as they come in. We had a little bit of a misfortune. I had my roommate paint the tabletop down there, yellow to match the quilt, the background of the quilt. And I already had my mom had the chairs, the metal chairs, the bright purple chairs that matched the inner border and the flowers of the hummingbird garden perfectly. So I just had him paint the top of the table. And then he went to tighten the table up with new screws, and he screwed right through the top of the table. So we're in the middle of fixing that. But we have a little couple things to do out here. I have a couple rugs to bring out. And anyway, the realtor was here. The realtor was here today. And basically it was because we're not 100% finished. I just wanted him to see that we were that we were working, that we're almost done. I told him that Monday that we would be finished with what we're doing, and then he said he would go ahead and hire the photographer, and that they would get it listed, and it would probably go up on Thursday. So after all of these many months, we could finally call a wrap. I don't have any I don't have anything in the carriage house to take pictures. The downstairs is just completely empty and white, so there isn't anything in there. And the crazy thing is that I'm out of quilts. The only thing I had left was Christmas and Halloween quilts, and I didn't want to hang up seasonal quilts as we're going into spring. I just didn't think that it made sense. So I will be putting up a sign on the door saying that the quilts are on loan from Urban Elements or Applique Elements, and please do not touch. And so we'll see how it all goes. Maybe if they have an open house, I'll bake some cookies. But it will be a great relief to have it all finished. And I'm greatly looking forward to that. So let me know what you think about the placement of the quilts. You can let me know what you think about the house, the staging. You can tell me, you can say, hey, what have you been doing all this time? It looks terrible. We still have some things to do, I know. But the one thing that everyone asks, including my family, they seem to think that I may have some regret at letting it go. No. I'm so ready. I'm so thankful to have had the house, but I'm so ready to let somebody else have it. It's a very big house, and it needs to be with a big family. Yes, I'm ready for a new family to come in. So that's exactly what I need. I need a big family to come in and really enjoy it. I'm only the second owner. The house was built in the late 1800s. It was all in one family. The people who built it and owned it. It was all in their family until me. So whoever gets it will be the third owner. So I've tried to take good care of it and shelter it and do the best I can. But I'm ready to pass it on. So give me some comments, give me some feedback. I need some encouragement here, and give me some positive vibes. And that's it for me today. Until next time, keep piecing it together.